By now, we would have known that Cricket West Indies yesterday announced their ODI squad to play against England in the 3-match ODI series starting on December 3. We also saw yesterday Chief Selector Desmond Haynes having a press conference to discuss the reason why he picked those players. At the start of the press conference, Desmond Haynes was very congratulatory, issuing congratulations to Alzarri Joseph on becoming the vice captain and wishing him happy birthday. He was giving praises at the start. But by the end of the press conference, Desmond Haynes was feisty. He was combative and he was impatient. In my opinion, some of the things that Desmond Haynes said in that press conference, I am convinced that Desmond Haynes is setting up himself for a push at Cricket West Indies presidency. Hello everyone, welcome to this morning edition of the Cricket Forum. Thank you for being here. Also in the house with us is our resident analyst, Bobby Brown. Bobby, good morning. The 15-man squad is on the screen. What is your take on that 15-man squad, Bobby?
Well, for much of it, I'm okay with it, but for a few selection, I'm still thinking it's puzzling at this moment. It's very puzzling. With few of the selection.
Is there any player in particularly that you would not have selected? When I look at this squad, I would have selected 12 of those players. Definitely, I would have selected 12 of those players. But there are 2 players in that squad that are definitely not selected, and one is 50-50. What is your take?
Yeah, for me too. The 2 players that I would have never selected is Kjorn Ottley and Shane Dowrich. I don't believe that they have done enough to be included in the squad. And for Hetmyer, like you said, maybe Hetmyer is the one you're 50-50 with, and I would be 50-50 with Hetmyer too.
Okay, let's listen now to Desmond Haynes as he starts that press conference by issuing his praises and giving his opening remarks.
Thanks very much for coming. I just wanted to say I would like to start this off by congratulating Alzarri Joseph on his 27th birthday. And also, I want to congratulate him as well as being appointed as West Indies vice captain. Alzarri has really indicated to us a lot of leadership qualities. Captaining the Leeward Islands this year in the Super 50 for the first time. He was very impressed by our panel, the selection panel. And we believe that with a bit of, we're always looking for leaders. We need a plan where that we can have people who can lead West Indies. And I think that Alzarri at the moment, how he demonstrated in the field, his commitment to the Leeward Islands team, bowling at the right times. I think that he has really impressed us, and I believe with the bit of exposure, he'll probably be able to be a future captain for West Indies. Also, I would also like to say as well that I think that he will be a good support for Shai as our leader. And again, I want to congratulate Alzarri Joseph not only on his birthday, but becoming West Indies vice captain for the 50 over games against England coming up. As you know, even though this press conference is for the team to play against England, we still have to be cognizant of the fact that we've got a team in South Africa. And we as selectors, we are monitoring that tour, that 18 tour, because obviously with the 18 tour overlapping, some of those players will not be eligible for selection for the 50 over games here. And that, was a challenge as well for us, having to pick, teams with a team playing away. But we'll be monitoring the success of those players there, because obviously you do all know that we are going down to Australia at the beginning of next year, and Australia with the success of the 50 over World Cup, it's always going to be a hard toe to toe Australia.
So Bobby, what is your feedback on that opening remarks from Desmond Haynes?
About the A-team tour?
Yeah, in general, what he was saying there about the, the A-team tour and so on, yes.
I mean, I could understand that. I could understand why, even though I don't see any other guys on the A-team tour that, would really get a chance in this team. But, I could understand, or I could see why the A-team tour, they're looking at the players for Australia, because we haven't been playing much red ball for a while. So,
Yes. All of us, almost, I did a poll in this community. 69% of the persons who responded to the poll said that Darren Bravo should be in the West Indies ODI squad based on performance. That is almost 70%. The very first question was put to Haynes yesterday was about the selection of Darren Bravo. After he answered that question from the young man in Jamaica, Kjorn Ottley, there was a follow-up question. I'm going to play how he answered Kjorn Ottley and how he answered the next journalist. Listen first to how he responded to Kjorn Ottley.
I think that it was a very tough decision for us to make as a panel. Darren has proven not only this year, but last year as well in the Super 50 tournament to be somebody who, performed well at this level. But we have invested in players like, Alick Athanaze and Keacy Carty. And we just figure that, selecting this team, we also had to take into consideration that the World Cup 2027 is something that we've got in mind. And we believe that we have invested in these players, and we believe that we should give them the opportunity playing against a very strong England side. And that's the reason why Darren has been omitted.
The omission of Darren Bravo, with the sense that you're looking at 2027 World Cup. Well, implying that you're looking at 2027 World Cup and look at the players who could be at their peak at that stage. However, though, we have Kjorn Ottley, who I just check up, he's born the same year with Darren Bravo. So if you're looking at players who could progress and be better in 4 years' time, then I'm trying to understand the logic of not picking Darren Bravo, especially, I mean, personally, I'm not the biggest fan of Darren Bravo, but he did impress in the Super 50. And if you're looking at the regional tournaments as stepping stones to making the West Indies team, it's still confusing how come Kjorn Ottley had been selected but not Darren Bravo.
Well, I think that you've got to look at the roles that we want the player to play. And Kjorn Ottley was included in the team because we had an injury in Justin Greaves. And we thought we wanted somebody to bat up front, and that's the reason why Ottley got the pick in there. That's why it's also important for we have people who are playing in our domestic season and doing well, because you've got to look at it from the point of view. There are going to be injuries. There are going to be people who are going to go to play in various competitions around the world. So we definitely, and as we keep saying all the time, is that our pool is not that big. But the other point that you didn't mention, I also mentioned the fact that we have invested in some young players, and I mentioned the likes of Alick Athanaze and also Keacy Carty. I just think that sometimes if we just do the...
So there it is, Bobby. What is Haynes trying to say? He willing not to pick Bravo, who is 35 years old, as the reporter asks. Ian Kjorn Ottley has the same name. And we are coming to your comments just after Bobby made this comment. Bobby, answer. Try to let me understand what Desmond Haynes was saying.
I'm wondering too. It seems like some type of mental gymnastics, because I don't understand. They're the same age. There's no excuse for that. They are the same age. So if you're gonna say you're not gonna pick a guy because of his age, how can you then go and pick another guy that is the same age?
It's buffering. It's buffering.
It's very mind-boggling. And at this time, if I was Darren Bravo, I'll be saying maybe Haynes has something against me, because there is no defense for that. You pick if he had went and maybe pick somebody like what's his name, Alden, or Jeremiah, a young guy, even though even though they haven't scored runs, but to his argument is that he's looking at 2027. So we could see that, but I'm trying to understand, how does Kjorn Ottley gets in the team, but not Darren Bravo? And with that, in fact, Darren Bravo has status. He's played international cricket before.
Yes, and in the interview, he did mention Jeremiah. He did mention Alain. And I'm with you. Go with a youngster and mold him for the next 4 years. He did mention that Jeremiah will be playing regional 4-day cricket. I think either for the Hurricanes or the Volcanoes. I don't quite remember. But go with one of those youngsters. I am very impressed with Jeremiah also, and I would have said it. I would have said it here. Let's take some comment, Bobby. So Sherwin is saying that he would have picked everyone else except that he would have Sinclair in, I think, for he's saying Yannic Cariah, and would have Justin Greaves in for Roston Chase. Well, to tell you now that Justin Greaves has been injured. In the interview, Desmond Haynes actually said that Greaves was selected, but he has been injured. And Athena is saying now, this is total madness. Okay, yes, so he was saying that they need a press conference to justify this level of stupidity. So Athena is saying that what Haynes reported just now, that I am interpreting what he's saying, that's no explanation. They need another press conference. That's what you interpreted, Bobby?
That's what I interpreted. Also, he's just going around in circles.
Yes. And this Osborne Flanders is saying, them say Bravo old, but he scored more runs than everybody. Isn't the performance what matters, Bobby, and not the age?
Yes, I think it's even if you're 40 and you're outscoring everybody.
Go ahead.
You deserve to play.
Yes, I am with you with that. Whether you're 1 or you're 99, once you are the best performer, you deserve to play. And Osborne is even making the point that the bowlers, the best bowler and the best batsman who perform in the Super 50 are not in the squad. Is that shocking?
Very shocking. Very, very shocking. What are you telling these players now?
What are you... Exactly, Bobby. What are you telling these players? And we saw in 2021 when he was criticized for picking Chase to go to the World Cup. He said that the reason why he picked Chase is that Chase was the best performer in the CPL at the time. So I don't know. Haynes is really going around in circles. So here's Athena again. Cricket West Indies is carrying us down the rabbit hole. This act of total brainlessness and disrespect of players' achievement and performances is beyond any normal thinking person. Bobby, can you add anything to that? Well said, Athena. I agree with you.
I agree with you. How are you going to ask for the fan support when you go and do something like this? There's no justification, with this squad, especially 3 persons in this squad. I do not understand. This is madness.
I am looking on, Bobby. I am looking on and I'm saying, a youngster who is interested in cricket, and he looks and see Bravo performing, he looks and he see Aiden Walsh performing, but none of them are in the team. What message is that sending to the youngster?
That's not sending a very good message, especially with the problem we face with franchise cricket. So now if a youngster comes and, he starts to do good and he runs off to play franchise cricket, he's going to think, well, maybe I just have to secure this bag because, I'm not performing and they're not picking me. So, and that's a very big problem we have. And I think we were over the hill in fixing it. And here we are again.
Yes. So, good morning, Merrick. Good morning, Merrick Meredith. Victor Donny is saying that Chase, Ottley, and Rutherford need to be off the team. They are old. So he's expressing his opinion. Ian from Trinidad is saying, is Kohli too old for India? No, Ian. Kohli actually made a century on his 35th birthday and made another century 7 days after his birthday. So there's no way. Bravo top scorer. Yes, we are saying that. We are really disappointed at Bravo. Apparently, Ian. So Ian is saying the things that you and I are saying. Christopher Bristol, why don't you won't go to your bed at night, sir? You need to start going to your bed at night. Up to 1 o'clock last night, you were still up. And so Cadet Robinson, Powell and Bravo should be in the squad. So we are going to come to Powell because he did talk about Powell. We are joined this time now by Andre, Christopher, Bobby. Any final comment before we go to Andre?
Yeah, should this team get smoked? I want to hear what Desmond Haynes have to say because, you know, I'm just disappointed in this with the non-selection of Bravo, really, because the guy was the top scorer and he should be there.
All right, thank you very much, Bobby. Have a wonderful day. We are now joined by Andre Douglas. Good morning, Andre, and welcome to the show. What are your thoughts on this squad that was selected? In a minute. Give us your thought in a minute.
Yeah. Morning, Carlton, and good morning to the viewers all over the world. For the most part, to be honest, I think those that were selected were pretty much select themselves, based on the performances, based on their experiences, right? But it's quite disappointing with omission of obviously of Darren Bravo, and not only the omission but the reason given for the omission, right? And also the inclusion of someone like a Shane Dowrich, who has a very dismal record in one day cricket, in list A cricket, right? So for the most part, most of the players I don't have an issue with, but there's just those questionable few that there's an issue with, and it's quite disappointing as to the reason given for the omission of the Trinidad captain Darren Bravo.
Yeah, it is disappointing, and that's what everyone is talking about. Now we come to Aiden Walsh Jr., who is another top performer in the tournament. This is what he said about Aiden Walsh Jr. Please listen.
Knocking on the door and doing the right things.
Yeah, if I can answer that personally, yes. Last season I was the first to go to Hayden when he lost his confidence, and I suggested, get a camera, get someone to look at you when you're bowling and so forth, because I thought at the time that he wasn't bowling well and he just needed some sort of assistance from outside, just to have a look at him. This year, I can tell you that I'm very impressed with the way how the ball was coming out of Hayden hand in this competition. And we even made a suggestion to the West Indies Cricket Board to have Hayden in the 16 practicing with us. I think he's going to be in Antigua for the camp. So we were very impressed with Hayden. And then, as you know, Hayden also, he used to be a two-dimensional player. Now he played very well, batted very well. For the Leeward Islands, came in at some crucial times and give the Leeward Islands a really good partnership and get them off to a good start and get them off to some good runs. And we are very impressed with his batting as well. So yes, I say that Hayden was very close to selection, and I'm happy that he's got back his form. He's bowling well, and he's always going to be in our plans.
What do you think, Andre? Do you think that it makes sense he's saying all those wonderful things about Aiden Walsh and yet still not selecting him in the squad?
No, it doesn't make any sense at all, because here's a young man, Aiden Walsh. Aiden Walsh has really improved. I've seen him bowl, and I've seen Aiden Walsh now bowling at the Googly a lot more. He has gotten a lot of wickets. He has improved in his batting tremendously, and he has always been a brilliant fielder. So I just don't understand why Hayden Walsh is not in the actual 15-man squad. He's talking nonsense. Why is there a Chase? Chase is probably the luckiest cricketer in the history of West Indies cricket. And Roston Chase, I'm thinking that now, to me, based on what Roston Chase has done in recent times, it seems as if he's selected more as a bowling all-rounder than a batting all-rounder, because his batting has fallen off tremendously. If I were Desmond Haynes, I would have chosen Hayden Walsh Jr. over Roston Chase. right? Because if you're gonna pick Roston Chase as a bowler, I don't give me Hayden Walsh, because I think Hayden Walsh can give me more of the ball, and he can contribute with the bat, and he's a brilliant fielder. So that's a very, very puzzling selection to on the part of his Chase over Hayden Walsh Jr.
Okay, let's listen what he said about the selection of Dowrich.
Well, I don't know if it's from you or somebody else who's on the line. It's gone now.
Yeah, I think it was someone else. Sorry, apologies. Just in terms of Shane Dowrich, just two questions, sorry. Just in terms of Shane Dowrich, obviously, it's been a long time since Shane Dowrich was named in a West Indies select squad due to a myriad of different reasons, but he showed some form in this year's Super 50. What was your rationale, though, for bringing him back into the fold?
Well, as you know, Dowrich has proven to be a player, batting in the middle, playing spin very well. And also he's done well, even though he hasn't played a lot of one-day games, he's done very well at test level. And I think that's one of the things that we, the selectors, we always think that if you can perform at a test level, it makes it a lot easier playing 50 over cricket. And Dowrich proved that he can play at that level with a couple of test hundreds. And, he had an injury, illness, and now he came back and he captained the CCC team, done very well. He got 100, and we were very impressed with the way how he led the side. And we just thought, well, in the situation of, obviously, we only got Shai as a keeper as well. And we just thought that Dowrich would probably be the other keeper in the side.
I don't know, but listen to Ains there. Maybe he should have just said, I picked Dowrich because he's a Barbadian. You spoke about Walsh and Chase, Andre, before I let you address Dowrich, but I would not have gone with Walsh over Chase necessarily, because I think in the white ball cricket, when you look at Chase statistics, and you made a good point when you're saying that Chase is now more of a bowling all-rounder. And when we start looking at Chase as a bowling all-rounder, we'll probably appreciate Chase more. Chase should never play test cricket, but as a white ball cricketer, he's doing very well. Please now react to what he said about the inclusion of Dowrich in the side, Andre. And I'm coming to your comments very shortly. Go ahead, Andre.
This is the first time that Dowrich has any done in List A cricket. This is the first time that Dowrich has made his mark, so to speak. And here's a young man who has been, even not so young, because Dowrich is 32 years old, by the way. Let me just point that out. Dowrich is 32, Bravo is 34. So Bravo is just 2 years older than Dowrich. So Dowrich averages 22 in List A cricket. This is the first time that Dowrich has done anything of any sort in List A cricket. So that selection again is quite puzzling. So here's a man who has just, he has done fairly well in this season and walks into the team. It's quite puzzling. It's quite puzzling to see Dowrich, who has been out of international cricket for some time, has gotten just one good season and has walked into the team. It leaves a lot of questions to be answered really from Desmond. It's quite puzzling selection on that part, on his part.
But I don't even think that it was a good season. I just think it was
okay.
If I was to rate Dowrich's season, he scored 1 century, yes. But if I was to give him a mark out of 10, I would probably give him 5. And I would not see myself giving him 6. But despite everything that Ains had said at the press conference so far, this is probably one of the most shocking thing he had said. He was asked about Rovman Powell. This was his response.
There wasn't a lot of discussion with Rovman at the moment. I still think that I owe him a call to explain to him some of the things that that the selectors spoke about. So I will do that in the not too distant future.
Did you hear that, Andre?
Yeah, so he's going to give Rovman Powell what?
A call.
A call.
Yes. So Rovman Powell, who is the vice captain of the team, you dropped him without giving him a call, without advising, without having a discussion. What level of human resource management is that, Andre?
The ironic thing, Desmond, he is himself was faced with this sort of injustice when he played on the West Indies team. When he was a player, when he went to South Africa, he was faced with injustice because he was not selected because he went to South Africa. So for a man who have experienced injustice, he should never allow this sort of injustice to happen to current players. He should that should never have should never be the case at all.
So Brian and I hope I get your name right. Aridel, so he's saying that Trinidad and Tobago won the CJU Super 50 and only one player gets selected. This is madness. How do you react to that, Andre?
Very, very interesting comment. Well, I mean, to be honest though, I mean, yeah, this is crazy that Bravo is not selected. But apart though, Bravo and Yannic Cariah, I think Puran was unavailable. And I think Hussein was unavailable. So, I mean, you couldn't really... How many other players would we expect to be selected?
So, Brian is not quite getting it right because Yannic Cariah is also from Trinidad. And probably if we look through the squad better, we have seen another Trinidadian. So, it's not only one Brian. We have at least two Trinidadian in that side. Roston Wilson is saying, Aiden batting more than Chase. Is Aiden Walsh now a better batsman than Chase?
No, I wouldn't say so. Although he batted better, I think, in this past tournament, but I still wouldn't think that he's a better batsman than Chase. Although Chase batting has really fallen off, I wouldn't say so though.
Is Roston Chase? Roston Chase is a very good all-rounder. Said your good friend Christopher Bristol. He'd never slept last night, so he's probably on something high right now.
Yes. Yeah. But Chase though, credit to Chase though. I think Chase has done well in the white ball version as a bowler though. You have to give him credit for that, you know. But I just personally, I would think I would pick. I mean, Hayden Walsh over him though.
Yeah. Good morning, Marlon. Good for you to be here. We'll come to you in a bit. Sol4X is saying, so Ains believe our top run scorer and wicket taker couldn't get into this ODI team. This is why West Indies cricket players are disenchanted with CWI. React to that from me, please, Andre.
That's one of the reasons, of course. I think that's one of the reasons why. I mean, the cricket, the fans are disenchanted, and that also. I think that the persons who sponsor this competition, the CG competition, what are they saying to these people? How are you going to have a competition with the highest run scorer not being able to get to the team? And not only has Bravo done well in this particular tournament, I think he did pretty well last year also. So what are you telling players? That at the age of 34, 35, you're too old? No.
Yeah.
He
did well. He did well in the regional Forde too. But I just think, and I'm going to say this because I think it was 2019 and 2019, yes, COVID was 2019. Jamaica was playing against Trinidad at Sabina Park. That was before COVID. And Bravo said, it is easy to get in the West Indies team. He wasn't like giving an interview or anything, you know, people talking, and he just made that comment, just a half the cuff comment. When I saw Ottley in the team and don't see Bravo, I was saying to myself, did that comment get back to Ains and he's trying to teach Bravo something? But it shouldn't be. It was a off-the-cuff comment and anyone could have said it. Tyrell is saying, I think they're trying to get down the role clarity of the players. Tyrell, I hope they are doing that. But if you are seeing this, I am not seeing it because I am very, very confused, Tyrell. And Simon, welcome to the show. Good to have you here. Really welcome. Got to be a beige and to be on the team. Feel hurt for Bravo. A lot of us are feeling very, very hurt. And then Dane is making a point that is quite possible. If Dowrich makes runs in this series, he could displace Da Silva in the test team if Da Silva continue to fail with the bat. A very good point there now. We should not ignore that point though, because Da Silva has not been performing. And we're coming now, Supernova 22, how are you, sir? Personally, I would have Hamilton over Dowrich, Bravo over Ottley, and Hussein over Chase. I'm going to play what Desmond Ains said about Hussein when Marlon comes on, because he was asked about the omission of Akeal Hosein. I want to thank you for being here, Andre. Your final comment?
Well, irrespective of the fact that we are really, really upset. We are really disappointed about Bravo being left out and the sort of injustice done to the young man. But I still, we still want to support the team, and I wish them well. And for the first timers like Rutherford coming into the team, and I mean, Dowrich is there, so we still want to wish him well. So we want to wish all the players well, and hope that they will, show some really good fight and play some really good cricket in the upcoming series against England.
Okay, yes. Thank you very much, Andre, and have a wonderful day now as we welcome Marlon Pinnock. Welcome, Marlon. Good morning. I know how you do it. Oh, Marlon seemed to have gone there. I seem to have lost Marlon just as I asked Andre, wish Andre goodbye. I just have lost Marlon. So in the meantime, let me run through some of your comments. So Caris is saying that Rovman Powell deserves a call. Once you're not in the squad announced, you got to get, and you get dropped. Cuddly these players is madness. Rovman Powell deserves a call. I think so. I think so, Caris. He was not only a player, but he was a vice captain. Would I have Powell in this team? No. Powell is not in my squad, but the decent thing to do was to call the gentleman even before the squad was announced and tell him that he was not in the squad. Ramas 1983, it puzzles everyone. As I said, I'm going to play a clip very shortly what he said about Akeal Hosein. Alan Sokukshang, how are you? Bravo's exclusion is ludicrous. Bravo is too old to be selected at 34 and Ottley selected at 33. That was pointed out to Desmond Haynes, and he got very feisty, defensive, and combative. Supernova 22, Rovman has been garbage in 50. I agree. I agree. And I don't usually use those strong words, Supernova 22. As I said a few moments ago, Rovman Powell is not in my team. He's not in my team. However, good man management skill would be to call the gentleman who was your vice captain and to say that, look, you have been dropped. We have taken the vice captaincy from you. So I think that would have been the proper thing to do. And it's just like Trump is a confused state. No coordination whatsoever he does. Michael Douglas, Rovman Powell deserves to be dropped. I agree. No problem there. And Forde is an excellent pick for the future. So let's go to what he said about Forde. So listen now. I'm going to play the clip about what he said about Forde inclusion. This is what, and then I go to what he said about Hosein. So Aiden was speaking about the inclusion of Forde.
Tell us about Matthew Forde, his inclusion and what you'll expect from him. He's known for his swing bowling. What can we expect from him?
Well, I guess that you are aware that Matthew Forde, he came through the academy system. He also was on the 19 World Cup in South Africa. Matthew, we believe that in the 50-over competition, we need people who that can get early wickets, and we believe that with his ability, to swing the ball in, that he would be a good asset to our side. So, as a young man, he's only 21 years old, and we're hoping that he will, remain fit and be able to do the business for us.
So Ains is saying that he hoped that Matthew Forde will be able to do the business for the West Indies. Yes, I too hope that they do well, Supernova 22, and I'll meet you over there. Good morning, Sammy, St. Ellen. I've never been so upset since we lost our pick to the World Cup. You mean to tell me Bravo wasn't selected, Chase is in, Dowrich is in, shake me head, Ains strike again. And I'm telling you, if you listen to that entire press conference, you know that Ains is positioning himself, at least it is my conclusion, it is my opinion, that Ains is positioning himself to be the next Cricket West Indies president. I think he wants that job, and it is on his mind. And so Quincy is saying, let's not forget Darren won the tournament as captain also. That is so true. But as we look now, let's hear, because this also to me was baffling. When he was asked about Myers and Oshane, this was Aiden's response when he was asked about Myers and Oshane.
Two players who omitted, Oshane and Myers, were they injured or dropped or?
Myers did not make himself available, and I'm not too sure the Oshane situation, but I can tell you that Myers was not available.
So he's not too sure about Oshane's situation. So he didn't call Rovman Powell. He's not too sure about Oshane's situation. Bravo is too old, but Kjorn Ottley is not too old when both of them date of birth is just around the same year as the reporter from Guyana asked the question. What is really happening here? What is really happening? It's buffering. And so Roston is saying, can we drop Ains? Probably it is time. It is a contract though. We'll have to pay him off. And as he said in the press conference, Cricket West Indies does not have a lot of money. So he said that Ains definitely want to be CWI president. Caris is saying that he agreed. Let's hear what Supernova, as a agent, I don't want to say it's biased, but Chase has been a player who gets chance after chance to have a proper performance and take so many matches to have that performance. Too many chances. Supernova 22, I am saying that I would have picked Chase. I would have picked Chase. But there are two players who I definitely would not have picked. And there's one that would be 50-50. But the 12th, I am agree with the 12th. I want to thank you all for being here. It is a fascinating morning. And please, you could probably just look, listen, re-listen those clippings from Desmond Haynes. Please smash a like on the video and tune in now to the two matches that is going on, the South Africa A match and the West Indies Academy match. Have a great day, everyone. God love you. One love. All the best.